Morning. It's a very good morning. Welcome at long last to Lake Area Adventures. 7 months ago, almost to the day, we stood almost in this very spot and articulated a dream. Today, the people who brought you Lake Area Adventures deliver on it today. This is $5 million, 35,000 square feet later, 10,500 square feet of air park jump space, every kind of video game imaginable, including vintage video games like I used to play at Land of Oz and Prion Lake Ball from the 80s. It's all here. We thank everybody who watched the previews on KPLC this morning and on Fox 29. We're glad you're here. We welcome everyone watching on the live stream on KWSL online. This is Lake Area Adventures, and before we recount all the features that this facility offers, we count our blessings. And we pause to do that with one of the founding family members, Dewana Tarver.
Say a prayer this morning, so if you would all bow your heads with me, I'll pray at this time. Dear God, we just thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given us today. We pray especially for our community, that this would be another step in our healing. This isn't a replacement of something that was stolen from us, but this is something brand new that's ours, that we created after the bad storm, like my babies call it. So we just thank you that for not a restoration, but a brand new building. And dear God, we also pray for the employees that are going to make this happen for this community. They're so important to this organization. We pray that you give them wisdom beyond their years, you give them strength beyond any natural power, and you bless them with the joy of learning to serve others. We also pray for our owners. We thank you for giving them this vision. They could have built anything they wanted, but they chose to build something for kids and families of our area. And we pray that you bless them, that you bless this thing, you bless them financially so that they can see their vision increase and become more than we ever dreamed possible. Again, we thank you for this day, and we celebrate with you the wonderful blessings you've given us. In your name we ask these things. Amen.
And we welcome everyone who arrives here in Lake Charles for the arrival of Lake Area Adventures. John Cardone from the city is here, a city councilman or two, you'll hear from one of them. Police jurors, thank you for coming. A state representative or two, tourist officials, parish officials, everyone, thank you for being here for this. Please come inside afterwards as our guest. The people who brought you Lake Area Adventures are no strangers in this town. In fact, they have made it an endeavor, an unspoken one, to leave this city better than they found it, it seems. What they've done here to repurpose an old lumber yard into a magnificent family entertainment center with no real model to follow, just some reimagination. It's part of their latest lasting legacy to Lake Charles. One of the people who can speak to it best and was here just about every day at all hours to help see this place go up is one of the members of those investors, the founders, the general manager of Lake Area Adventures. Please welcome Tim Robles.
So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. Many of us stood inside the building when it had no walls and barely had a roof here for the groundbreaking ceremony. And yet here we stand not too far after, ready to open the doors. One of the things that we are very proud of is the work and effort that went into it. I wish we would be able to calculate the man hours that we put into it, but ultimately people told us this was a 16 to 18 month build, and it was done in 5.5 months. People looked at us and told us we were absolutely too aggressive, couldn't be done. And we say that the market and the customer should take it back and say, nope, this can be done, it can be demanded, we can move better, and we did. We wanted to tell the citizens and the residents of Lake Charles that when we were going to do something, we were going to do it, we're going to do it well, we're going to do it fast, and we're going to open these doors to them. And that's exactly what we do. Many of these guys standing here watch the sunrise as we ourselves put our own hands into the project to make these doors be able to come open to the residents of Southwest Louisiana. One thing I just have to do it is one person that I really have to thank is my wife, Chelsea. Because for those 5.5 months and months prior, she was a single mom, taking care of the kids, doing everything. that I just could not be at home. Many hours spent here, and a lot of the other husbands here were the same. Our wives and our immediate family members, to even our kids, all jumped in and took the space of areas that we couldn't do, or even came into this place and helped us put it together. So our families were very crucial in helping us get this project done, and we are very excited that our families get to gift this to the residents and the families of Southwest Louisiana. I do want to say a special thank you to Mark Eckert, our city council member. He was involved in the project from our thought concept, was excited about it, and when we needed help in certain areas, we were able to call him, and his main concern was making a place in his area of responsibility better, and he was excited about what we were doing, and he helped us in that. So I want to thank Mark for that and his efforts and all of that. And I want to thank the contractors that even when they showed up on the job and we told them what we wanted to do and how fast we wanted to do it, they laughed and said couldn't be done. But Cypress Engineering, our engineer, and one of our owners, David Minton, we stood here and we told them, hey, when you hit a problem, we find a solution. And it didn't take them long to understand we were going to build it in the speed we were going to. And they got excited about it. And so Seth Prioli Construction got into it. We had local contractors from Sabine Pools, the way how fast they put our pool together. I'm hoping it's holding water. It is holding water. And we had groups like Gager Flooring that came out, all kinds of things. They came together, and by the end of it, we were one unit, one team building it, and we were excited. And they became excited to be able to offer this to the community themselves. Lofton Electric, Porsche Plumbing, these guys just really got into it and helped us turn the lights on. There are many thanks I can give, but ultimately, speaking to those residents that might be watching, to all of you, we want you to really enjoy this. We hope that what you thought it might look like, it's even better than that. And the last thank you I'm going to give is to this little group of people over here, the staff. The staff has absolutely been crucial. They have been working night and day. As you see, even some of them are straggling on over because they're in there working now. They are proud of this. We told our staff that Lake Area Ventures wants to be a company the city's proud of, that says, yeah, we may not have this or we have this, but we have Lake Area Ventures, and that they are proud to work here and then to bring customer service on a level that we believe that residents are entitled to. So we're encouraged with that, and I just can't thank my staff enough for helping us get to where we are today. So we are done with the building project for now. There may be other things that come. And we are ready to operate for Southwest Louisiana.
So many people have stood shoulder to shoulder to put all this together, from investors to the people who walk through at noon for the first time. There's three people I want to bring up to stand shoulder to shoulder, and in that same way to talk about this project, because they do have a personal connection to this, not just a political one. From the city and the state and the parish. I want three people to come up right now to each share some thoughts. From the City Council, District G member Mark Eckert. Councilman, if you'll come up. And from the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, the District 6 Police Juror, Ron Hayes. And we happen to, did manage to secure a state legislature as well from District 36, State Representative Philip Tarver was able to make it in. Mark, if you'll speak first, then Ron.
Thank y'all for allowing me just to say a few words. When I was first approached with this project, first of all, I'd been driving by here looking at the old dilapidated building that the sides had been blown off, and I'd been talking to our property standards people. It's like, okay, when are we going to start requiring our property owners to get that building back into shape, to do something with it? And it wasn't very long after that when I was approached and they said, hey, Lake Area Adventures is going to put in a new facility there. And it's like, it was so ecstatic about that. So we're just happy to be able to help. I was talking to Mike Castile, our director of community services this morning. I said, Mike, why wasn't the city able to do something like that? And I told him, before you answer that, I'll tell you why. Because it takes a private enterprise, it takes private business, it takes entrepreneurship, and that's why we have this out here today. Congratulations on your vision. It's phenomenal. When we go to a ribbon cutting like this or an opening, it's not often we get to say, wow. But when we come here, we can actually say, wow. Congratulations to the owners. Your vision is impeccable. I can't say enough. We're so glad that you're here. And we cannot say that there's nothing to do in Lake Charles. I do not want to hear that from anybody's mouth because it's here. Thank you so much.
You people are crazy to give me a microphone and no time limit, I'll tell you that right now. I have a small speech that I brought with me. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. Oh, that's the wrong one, excuse me. On behalf of the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury and our president, Chris Landry, I want to welcome you guys. I want to thank you guys for making this a part of Lake Charles, Louisiana. You know, Mark just said, you can't use the excuse anymore that there's nothing to do in Lake Charles. And back when I was a kid, we heard that all the time. You'd have to go to Houston, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, or whatever to have fun. No more. No more. I'm very excited about that. In fact, I'm so excited. I'm almost as excited as I was when Elvis came to Lake Charles back in the 70s. I'm telling you, this is big. This is big. And it's something that families can share, something that the kids will go nuts over. The grandkids, are you kidding? I have 5 grandchildren this summer. They'll be coming to stay with us. They'll be coming to stay here before it's all over with. You know, they said that at the end of every Elvis concert, Elvis has left the building. Well, now Southwest Louisiana is going into the building. And we're so proud. We're so excited. We're thrilled to have this venue open. These folks owning the venue, taking the chance, putting their money where their mouth is, and we're all going to benefit from it. Thank you so much, and thank you folks for coming out here today.
There's a song, I Can Only Imagine. And I want to thank these gentlemen for their imagination. And I'll get to that in a second. But you know, it's been mentioned that you can no longer say there's nothing to do in Lake Charles. And we've heard that for years and years. And with what these guys have accomplished, it's unbelievable. I remember thinking 6 months ago, you crazy. Ain't no way that thing getting built in less than a year. I mean, I've been around long enough to know it takes time, and you know, it's hard to do. And I remember, y'all remember me telling y'all that? I probably laughed just like that. I said, that ain't happening. But we were up against a time frame that kind of merited it and kind of enforced it. And so what they did, this is a cool thing, if you think about it. Entrepreneurship is alive and well in this generation, okay? We think about what America has accomplished in our lifetimes and even in the lifetimes of people like my father-in-law, Harold Corley, the Korean War veteran out there, the things that have changed in this world and in this community over the last 50, 60, 70 years. And this is a catapult to a new generation of entrepreneurs that say, we're not going to be held back. This generation of young people this day we don't give them a lot of credit a lot of times, but they're out there, these guys demonstrating, we're going to make this happen and nobody is going to hold us back. I love that. I've just tried all my life to not be held back and to just push. And that's what we've done right here to get to this point today. And based on that, I think the sky's the limit in terms of what this community is going to find and what they're going to experience. And from that, I want you just to imagine for a second. This is an example. You remember what this place was like 6 months ago. You all looked at it for 10 or 15 years that way. And I think about our state. We know what it is not, what it should be. We know that it is not. And can we imagine? Can we imagine what it could be? Can we take this example and catapult where we are to where we want to be? Some have mentioned that their grandchildren will come back and they'll come here. And that's what we are really about. We're losing our people in our state. But this type of thing This type of thing is what we need in our state. We need to imagine. We need to have the creativity and the drive and the ambition of these 5, 6 guys over here that said, we're going to go do this. And they just never quit saying that. They just never let anybody say it couldn't be done. And we don't do it that way. And it doesn't happen like that. But they got after it and they did what they said they were going to do. They delivered. And I would like us to think that we could do the same thing in our state. We are doing it in our community. And we should be able to do that in our state. So thank you, Tim Robles, Jerry Antwine, Ed, Eric, Corey, Dave. Thank you for giving us the example of getting out there and working hard. And thank you to Rick and to me, and we got a couple other people that are in our deals. Josh Quaid. We saw, look, this is $5 million investment, okay? Now, the banker, where's Trey? Is Trey here? Our banker? Without that kind of fortitude of investment, without that kind of risk-taking, which is what entrepreneurship is, this kind of thing doesn't happen. But because we imagined it, we imagined what it could be, we're going to have a great day today. And it's going to be something that when they would walk in out here in the last few days, we had the soft openings, they said, man, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. I can't. And I think, and I said this myself, this is more than I ever imagined. People say, was this what you thought? What did you think about this? It's far more than I ever imagined it could be. And so to you as a community, I challenge you to take that kind of imagination and that kind of drive and that kind of ambition and desire for things to be something more than you ever imagined they could be. Thank you again, guys.
We've all been to so many ribbon cuttings, and they have taken on really new meaning since the storms and the epidemic and everything else. Those ribbon cuttings and ceremonies have ranged from the big and small, anything from a statue dedicated downtown to thank the linemen, the strangers that came from all over the country to help us to rebuild. It ranges to the smallest shops in the strip malls who reopened. All of them did this. They doubled down on Southwest Louisiana. And when Ron talks about the fact there used to be a time when you went to Houston or Baton Rouge or Lafayette to do something, well, now it's come the time where Houston and Baton Rouge and Lafayette comes to Lake Charles to do something. It's time to cut the ribbon. It's time to go inside. It's time for Russ Silvers to give us a tour for online audiences about everything that's going on as well. We're the newest member of the Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber of Southwest Louisiana. Paula Ramsey, come forward if you would with the big scissors and the big ribbon for the big ceremony.